We're going to begin sitting down. So you can sit like I'm choosing to kneel. You can sit cross-legged or legs can be extended forward. But as you'll come to find yourself in a comfortable position, shoulders are going to stack over the hips. You'll close the eyes. And start to breathe in and out through your nose only. Nayyirah Waheed, she's a poet on Instagram. She wrote, "And I said to my body softly, I want to be your friend. It took a long breath and replied, I have been waiting my whole life for this." You'll flutter the eyes open. We're going to bring the hands behind, and I'm going to stand up in a minute, interlacing the fingers to show you. We're going to bend at the elbows and let the palms come together to touch. So you're going to hook over to your right and then bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Today, for this half an hour, I want to explore the ways in which we learn in yoga how to listen to and respect the body. Take one more full breath in here and a full breath out. Come to lift the head, bring the hands to center, hook them over to the left hip, and then bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. Go ahead and come to lift the head, sit to center. You're going to keep the interlaced fingers. I'll just turn to my side. Extend the arms back. Begin to look up and find a slight back bend so you're drawing the shoulder blades in and moving the collarbones away from one another. And then keep the arms extended back, but let your chin come to the chest. And then go ahead and come to lift your head, release the interlaced fingers, shake it out. And then come forward to hands and knees, a tabletop posture, wrists under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Fan out your fingers, pointer fingers are at 12 o'clock. Thumbs are energetically coming in. Now deepening your connection with your body. Feel yourself solid in the fingers, feel the aliveness in your hands. Press into the ground, bring the knees back a little bit behind the hips, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Today's practice, I want it to be less about force, pedal up the feet, and more about listening. Even right now in this downward facing dog, I want you to make subtle adjustments in your weight and the position to explore this pose. Your body primarily made of water, feel fluid-like. Come to look forward to the hands and begin to walk the feet forward so that the feet come directly behind the wrists. 2 fists could fit in between the feet. Slowly chin to chest, one vertebrae at a time. You'll begin to rise to a stand. This practice affirms and honors self-awareness. Stay standing, bring your hands to heart. A direct experience for you to listen to your body. Stay here, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Release your hands by your sides. Reach overhead, stack your wrists directly over the shoulders, turn your palms to face forward. We're gonna come right into the cactus arms. So pushing the hips forward in a slight back bend, press down through the feet and feel the lift of your chest up. Now come back to rise your arms overhead, palms face each other, wrists stack over shoulders. We're gonna bend in the knees and swing the arms back behind, coming into airplane arms. So as you imagine you're taking a seat, you're shifting your weight into the heels. Now bring your hands to interlace the fingers at the low back and then lift in the chest up, keeping your hips down. Stay here, take a breath in, hinge at your hips and fold forward and down. The top of your head comes towards the ground, both sit bones lift up. And imagine your arms are being pulled gently up and over your head. Stay here, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Now release the interlaced fingers. You might slide your hands down the low back to the legs, sliding the palms to the shins. You'll look up in a halfway lift. Feel your hips extend back, like the quads can reach behind you while the top of the head comes forward. Tap into any bodily sensations. Take a full breath in. Plant your hands to ground. Step back to hands and knees. A tabletop posture. Wrists under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Dip the navel and lift your chest up. Come into the cow posture. So without dumping into the shoulders, press into the hands. Draw the chest through the arms. And feel the widening of the sit bones as your tailbone scoops up. And then bring your chin to the chest. Round in the spine, come into cat. Morgan Garza says the mind becomes deeply intertwined with the body in this practice of yoga. The two, the mind, the body, become one, opening up the flow of communication. Dip your navel, draw the chest back through the arms, look up. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back. Stay in down dog, looking in between the feet for a full breath in and a full breath out. On your next inhale, look forward, empty your breath, bring your feet directly behind the wrists, keeping the feet hip distance apart. Slide your palms to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Nose to knees, hands behind legs, hug together. Stand up on one breath. Reach overhead, fill in your lungs. Stay standing, bring your hands to heart, breathe out through the nose. Release your arms by the side, circle overhead, inhale. Palms face forward, cactus arms lift in the chest, look up, exhale. Come to reach up center, draw the belly in. Find chair pose, swing the arms back behind you. Stay here, interlace the fingers, lift in your chest, fill in the lungs. Exhale, fold forward, top of the head down. Stay here, take a full breath in. Stay here for your breath out. Release the interlaced fingers, sliding palms to shins, halfway lift, inhale. Hands to knees, step back onto all fours. Dip your navel, inhale, lift the chest, look up. Stay here, just round in the spine, come into cat. Dip your navel, draw the chest through a smile shape and spine. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. Stay here, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Bring your feet together, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. So all 5 toes point to the ground. You're going to step your right foot all the way to the outer of your right hand. We're going to establish a wide stance. So before coming up, you're going to hobble the left foot out to the left and spin the foot entirely down. Bringing your hands up onto the hips, stacking shoulders over hips. I'm going to turn to face you. We've created this wide stance, really utilizing the width of the yoga mat so you can bring the left hip forward and the right hip back. So we have these hip bones here. We're trying to line them up. This is an awkward shape. The knees directly over the ankle, arms will rise up, shoulders are going to release down. Now the left leg is active. Press to the outer edge of the pinky side of the toe into the ground. Your shoulders aren't worn as earrings. Now go ahead, palms are going to face down. Release your arms by your sides and interlace your fingers once again to the low back. You're going to straighten your right leg and lift your chest and look up. So as both legs are straight, muscles are coming up from your feet. You're going to take an inhale and then bend in that right knee, hinge at the hips, fold forward and down, coming into humbled warrior. So in this lifetime, maybe not, the top of your head is going to come towards the ground. Your arms, again, are just gently being pulled up and over the head. Breathing into the right hip. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. So you're just going to stay here hinged at the hips. You're going to release the interlaced fingers and bring your hands to the ground. You're going to pop up your back heel and then you'll come into downward facing dog. Use your core strength to come into that inverted upside down V. Now as you breathe in, come forward into a high push-up position. So shoulders are directly over the wrists. Always know you have the option to release down to the knees. Shift forward, shoulders over fingertips. Lower all the way down, elbows hugging into the midline. Now I'm not going to come all the way down because of this mic, but as your chest rests to the floor and your toenails press into the ground, wrists under shoulders, baby cobra, the shoulders shrug up to your ears, down the back, and lift in the chest. So there's little to no weight in the hands. You might even hover the palms. Stay here, breathe in. Lower your chest to floor, breathe out. Let's do that again. Inhale, gentle back bend, rise in your chest. Breathe out and slowly lower your chest down. One more time, inhale, lift just the chest. Knees are off of the ground, toenails are down. Lower the chest down. Come up onto your hands and knees, big hands. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. In down dog, take a full breath in and a full breath out. With your big toes together, lift your left leg up into a one-legged down dog. Continue to press into your hands. Now lift your leg up high. Step your left foot to the outer of your hand. Hop your right foot out to the right. Pivot your foot to the floor. This first time around, just bring your hands up onto your hips as you rise up. So you can shift now the right hip forward and the left hip back. The knees directly over the ankle, arms rise up, shoulders are away from the ears. Body awareness is how conscious and connected you are to your own body. She who knows others is wise. She who knows herself is enlightened. Bring the hands to the low back. Interlace the fingers. Let a different pinky rest to top. Straighten in the leg. Lift in your chest up. Feel the muscles coming up from your feet. Stay here. Breathe in. Bend in the knee. Hinge at the hips. Humbled warrior. Fold forward and down. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. Here in awareness, take a full breath in. Stay here, soften into that left hip a little bit more. Just release your hands to the ground and pop up your back heel. So your hands rest to the inside of the foot, back heel is lifted, downward facing dog. Come forward into a high push-up position. Option to release to knees. Lower all the way down, elbows hug in. Flip the feet over, inhale, lift the chest. Lower the chest to the ground. Come up onto the hands and knees, inhale. Tuck toes, downward facing dog, exhale. Now, for those of you that are regular practitioners, always know you can do the up dog and we'll accompany you in the downward facing dog, but I'm going to continue to speak in the baby cobra and adding that step onto hands and knees before transitioning into downward facing dog. So you'll listen to and respect your own body. Feet together, lift your right leg up high, inhale. Step the right foot to the outer of the right hand, establish the wide stance, left foot pivots on the exhale. Arms rise up, inhale, modified, or warrior one. Hands to low back, interlace fingers, breathe out. Straighten the right leg, inhale, lift your chest, look up. Bend in the right knee, hinge at the hips, humbled warrior fold. Stay here, take a full breath in, and stay here for the breath out. Release your hands, pop up the back heel, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Come forward as you fill in your lungs to a high push-up. Your choice, lower all the way or halfway down, breathe out. Baby cobra, inhale. Lows and baby cobra, lower chest, exhale. Come up onto hands and knees, breathe in. Tuck toes, downward facing dog, breathe out. Take a full inhale, full exhale. Feet together, left leg lifts, breathe in. Step to the outer of the hand, establish the wide stance, right foot pivots. Arms up, warrior one. Hands to low back, interlace fingers, breathe out. Straighten your leg, inhale, lift your chest, look up. Bend in the knee, hinge at the hips, humbled warrior fold. Stay here and humbled for a full breath in. Go deeper, stay for the breath out. Release the hands, pop up the back heel, looking forward, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Come forward into a high push-up position. Lower all the way or halfway down, breathe out. Flip the feet, baby cobra, inhale. Nose and baby cobra, chest to ground. Come up onto hands and knees, inhale. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Come to gently release down onto the knees. Find child's pose. Knees out wide, big toes touch, hips to heels, forehead to ground. Performed mindfully and with love, this practice of yoga can be empowering, transformative, and immensely healing. Right now, in this shape of child's pose, I want you to use this pose to familiarize your mind with your body. Yoga without the mind's involvement is an empty exercise. So use this posture to familiarize your mind with the body. In child's pose, you should be feeling an openness in the hips, the thighs, the length and the stretch in the spine. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. Go ahead and come up onto your hands and knees, a tabletop posture. We are going to prepare for a back bend. You might walk your hands in first to come to sit all the way up onto the heels. So if you need to double up your yoga mat, mine are uniquely positioned right now. So I'm going to show you with this one what I mean. I'm just drawing my yoga mat in, which is going to provide me extra cushion for my knees. You can assess how much you want to go. Normally I just do one fold in. And then you're going to come up onto the knees and stand up. And the knees are underneath the hip sockets, not the outer hips. I'm going to turn to the side. Now, with the hands to the low back, Your thumbs to the sacrum, this triangular shape in the low back. Your elbows are going to hug in. You're going to begin to push your hips forward and slowly begin to look up. So as your elbows try to be hugged in behind you, like your elbows can come together to touch. In doing that, it helps you to open you in the chest. The collarbones move away from one another. Breathe in and out through your nose. Take one more full breath in and a full breath out. Now slowly transition back up. Bring your thighs together, sit to your heels. You're going to come into a narrow knee child's pose. So in this variation of child's pose, the forehead comes to the ground and the arms reach back towards the heels. Always know you can just come into child's pose. This is another variation. And we'll do this one more time. Bring your hands back underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up to stack your shoulders over your hips. Come up onto the knees. Drift the knees underneath the hip sockets. Bring your hands to the low back, thumbs coming to the sacrum, and then begin to push your hips forward and lifting the chest to look up. If it's in your practice, you can keep the toes tucked, untucked. You can bring a hand to a heel, pushing the hips forward, chest still lifts up. Collarbones move away. Breathing mindfully. Now we'll slowly come out of this, stack shoulders over hips, thighs come together, sit to heels, narrow knee child's pose. Rest your forehead down, bring your arms back. And come to settle your hands directly underneath the shoulders and press yourself up to stack shoulders over hips. You'll turn your weight to a side and swing the legs forward in front of you. We're going to go ahead and come into an easy cross-legged position. And as you come into an easy cross-legged position, we're going to stay rested onto the fingertips like spiders. And then you're going to crawl forward. Now, keeping the neck neutral to the spine, the sit bones pressed down and back. And go ahead and crawl your spiders over to the right. Keep the left sit bone down. And then, like spiders, crawl your fingers forward and switch sides. Walk over to the left. To the degree in which this feels most comfortable for you to maintain that right sit bone down. Shoulders away from the ears. Go ahead and come to walk the spiders back to center. Walk all the way in to stack shoulders over hips and then switch so the different leg rests on top. Fingertips crawl forward. Find that length. Keep the neck neutral to spine. Crawl your fingers over to the right. And then go ahead and come to crawl to the center and switch over to the left. And then as you're going to come through to the center, you'll come all the way up to stack shoulders over hips. Take a spine twist over towards the right. Bring your left hand to the knee, right fingertips to the ground. Inhale, sit up tall. Stay here, exhale, rotate and look back. Stay here for one more breath in and stay and rotate. Feel this in the upper body, this rotation. Now smoothly come forward center and switch sides. In yoga, the intention is that you befriend your body. by getting to know its own limits as well as its strengths. It really is a practice to help you reclaim self-empowerment. Go ahead and smoothly come forward to the center. Release your arms down, circle overhead, reach up, hands to heart, breathe out. We'll do that 2 more times. Release the arms, circle overhead, look up, hands to heart, breathe out. 1 more time. Inhale, hands to heart, exhale. Stay here with your hands to heart. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. From my heart to yours, we bring our thumbs to the forehead as a symbol of respect for ourselves and each other. And we'll bow together and say, Namaste.